A cup of information, a tablespoon of wisdom, and a dash of humor. The perfect recipe to start your day.
Mornings with Sue and Andy.
QR Calgary.
8:17 on your Monday morning, and we're certainly accustomed to flashing the plastic to make our purchases and assuming that we can trust an ATM is safe and reliable. But scammers are always looking to take advantage of us and finding, unfortunately, very clever ways to steal our information. So joining us to talk about protecting ourselves against ATM skimming this morning is Hadis Karimipour, who's an associate professor in the Department of Electrical and Software Engineering at the University of Calgary. Good morning to you, Professor. Thanks so much for joining us.
Hi, good morning. Thank you very much for my invitation.
Appreciate it. Can you first off explain what ATM skimming is?
Yes, for sure. ATM skimming is a type of fraud where criminals use hidden electronic devices. They usually place those devices over the card slot of an ATM or payment terminal, and then they steal card information, PIN number, things like this. Later, they will use it for unauthorized, basically, purchases.
So the ATM is the money machine that we're getting money out of, but does it happen at sort of the point of sale machines within a business as well?
Yes, it usually happens in gas stations, gas pump, or any other places inside any store that they have a basically machine and card that you insert your card to make purchases. Any places it can happen, but usually in places that are not very crowded or with the ATM machine that are not from well-known bank, the basically possibility is higher.
Does it happen if I tap my card as well as if I slide my card?
The chances when you use the cheap card technology or pay to tap to pay is a lot less compared to magnetic strip card when you basically use those cards. And the reason is that cheap card and tap to pay technology has higher level of security, and they use one basically unique transaction code that will be generated for every single transaction. And that makes it very, very difficult for the criminal to generate those codes and use the information of the card for other purchases. But magnetic strip card, when you swipe the card, they provide a static type of data. And this data is like your card number, expiry date, the data that won't change. So it's easily for a cyber criminal, they can easily use this information to make other purchases.
So is one better than the other then? You know, after
yes,
saying
definitely. That? Yes, if you use cheap card, those cards with a small chip in it, it's a lot better. And the best way is always to use tap to pay because there is minimum contact. You don't need to use PIN number, so you're reducing the chance of people seeing your PIN and stealing your information. So
a chip card and tap to pay are better in terms of safety. So, how can we tell when we're at, a gas machine or any sort of business? Can we tell if where we're putting our card has been tampered with?
It's always better to inspect the ATM device or the gas basically pump or anywhere that you will basically put in your card. Usually it's kind of the device looks something like bulky, loose, or it has some sort of extra attachment. If you inspect for this stuff and if you see something is unusual, definitely make sure that you won't use that specific device. Or if you look around, you might see a small hidden camera that's basically placed somewhere close to the device to collect your PIN, or there might be keypad overlay. Anything that you use unusual or suspicious, definitely consider that as a sign and don't use that machine.
You're our expert, so what are you looking for when you go and use your card? You're tapping your card or you're inserting it. What are you looking for specifically, Professor?
Yeah, as I said, I always check the ATM. First of all, I will make sure that I'm not using any ATM anywhere that I don't know the bank or it's not a crowded basically area. And I always look to see if anything suspicious is there. If someone who's basically looks suspicious is around, because even tap to pay technology are suspicious if the criminal are close to you, they can have devices to collect those communication, basically information that will be sent. It's still a lot rare compared to other types, but you always have to look for anything suspicious. If there is a camera, if the environment looks suspicious, if there are people that are looking suspicious, and you don't have to trust people people who pretend wanted to help you and basically wanted to talk to you and using social engineering basically techniques to collect information from you by offering a helping hand or things like this. So anything looks suspicious, definitely consider that, and that's what I will do. And I always use tap-to-pay technology. That's the best way. And the other thing that you have to do is to always monitor your bank account. It's always better to know if anything suspicious is happening as soon as possible. And then you can report it to the bank, make sure to freeze your account and change your password.
Great reminders. Okay, so use TAP. Always use a chip card. Check your bank account to make sure you're watching for anything kind of funky. And I'm just reading in an article, the FBI in the U.S. says it costs consumers and financial institutions more than $1 billion a year, all these skimming type frauds. Thank you for your time this morning. Appreciate it, Professor.
Thank you. Have a good
you.
day.
You too. Professor Hadis Karimipour is an associate professor at the Schulich School of Engineering at the University of Calgary.
A cup of information.